Good morning, good afternoon all. We are pleased to bring you together today for this 30-minute webinar dedicated to the new era in analytics. Easier, more proactive, faster and cheaper, enabling the successful implementation as well as the adoption of data applications. In other words, do these new paradigms really herald the end of the dashboards? During this webinar, we will come back to the lessons learned from the COVID crisis, response to flexibility requirements at lower cost, and eliminate barriers to entry of data application adoption. We will also share a live demo of instant analytics on 5 billion rows in the cloud. And then we will come back to the technologies and best practices to keep in mind. Of course, do not hesitate to share your questions via the chat and we will answer them at the end of the session. Speakers, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Roxane Edjlali. I'm a Senior Director in Product Management here at Microstrategy. And we are a BI and analytics vendor. And we've been in this field for over 30 years. And let me now introduce you to you Henri-François Chadesson, who's going to tell you more and will be actually demoing the products for you.
Thanks, Roxane. Hello, everyone. I'm Henri-François. People call me HF, so feel free to use that acronym with me. I manage the sales engineering team in Europe with MicroStrategy, and I'm very happy to be here with you to showcase some of the great things we do and how Indexima can help us make insights faster than the speed of light. With Nicolas, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Henri-François. Thanks a lot, Roxane. I'm Nicolas Corchia, in charge of operation at Indexima, and I'm very proud to do this webinar with you, Henri-François and Roxane. At Indexima, we are a software that speeds up data analytics, but I will tell you more in a few minutes.
Okay, so with no further ado, let's get started. So what has happened with this particular situation we're all living in with COVID, with the first wave and the second wave, and how is our new normal changing? In a research that we've done back in June with BARC, which you can actually find on our website, we have actually discovered that for many organizations, and I'm sure it is the same for you, there has been major changes in analytics resulting from COVID-19. The first thing that jumped to me when I saw the survey results was that actually only 40% of the organizations were actually saying that they were properly equipped in terms of data and analytics to address the new demands. 72% of the organizations actually told us that they had to come up with new projects, new analysis to actually address the changes that have happened with COVID and be able to adapt the organization and the decisions to this changing situation that's still ongoing. So the first thing that we observed was the requirement to evolve quickly. The ability to actually quickly create new content, new analysis, address new changes, being very flexible in terms of providing the responses to change, to be able to adapt to changing market conditions, lockdowns, etc., that are constantly changing our environment. Second was remote work. Over 50% of the organization have seen major changes in the way that they had to deal with their workforce, between lockdown, remote work, and all of the changes in the way that people needed to reinvent their workplace. That has also had a lot of impact on the way that data and analytics was made available, whether it was skills impact because there's no one, in the next door office or desk that you can ask for help, or the fact that now you need to actually have truly a secure platform and a set of analysis that you can truly trust without having to question what you are seeing. It's hard enough to figure out what's going on in your market and what's going on in your business environment without, on top of that, having to question whether your numbers are correct. And then the third thing is cost control. Obviously, with the situation, it is very hard to predict what the future is going to be like. And so while the demands for more flexibility, more analysis have increased, and actually data and analysis have become very much in the center of everyone's concern. We all look daily at, you know, the number of contamination rates, et cetera, and all of those curves. So analytics is everywhere. It's even more important for all the organizations today than it was before. But with the little, the level of predictability around us forced all organizations to be extremely cautious and in terms of cost control. So what does that mean to all of us? What does it mean that, what is it that we need to be able to do? Well, we need to actually make sure that our data and analytics environment meets those 5 requirements. So first of all, cloud flexibility. That has been, you know, it was a trend, and now it is actually even more so the preferred deployment environment because of the flexibility that it offers, and also the pricing that it offers. Simplifying data access. So you have a lot of data, you need to access it even easier in a way that is even easier than before, without having to go through too many steps, and making it really simple to perform new analytics on the data as you need it. Having governance and monitoring of all of your data activities also becomes very important as it relates to this distributed workforce that we are all experiencing, and all of the decisions that we are making. We want to make sure that we actually can take them based on trusted data. The skills barrier is another big challenge. It's always been a challenge for data and analytics, but with the new situation, this is becoming even more important. We want everyone to be data savvy. We want organizations to become data driven, and yet the skills barrier is even harder to overcome in this kind of distributed workforce with remote work, even more so than before. And then the final challenge that we need to all overcome is to have an environment that is easy to manage, that you can automate and scale. So automated platform optimization becomes also super important to enable the trusted and environment, and with the simplified data access. So all of this is kind of tied together, and I'm hoping that HF and Nicolas, you're going to walk us through and tell us how we can solve all of these issues by combining Indexima and Microstrategy.
Thanks, Roxane. So how about we start with Microstrategy and see what it can do to help your corporations. The purpose of Microstrategy can be summarized in 2 words: intelligence everywhere. That means we want to help every organization in the world transform the data that you have, you can see on the bottom of the slide, into insights for all audiences, any kind of users that you have, both internally, across business units, sales, marketing, HR, and so on, but also externally, and help monetize new services, data-driven, to customers, to partners, and suppliers. And we do all of that with what we call the Microstrategy Intelligent Platform. That platform ensures that these insights are delivered to every user by any means necessary in a trusted and centralized, certified way. We do that with 3 major stack of features. The first one is obviously the one for consumption, that is focusing everything on modernity. So you see the first product here called HyperIntelligence. It's our flagship product. I will show you a bit later on how it looks like. It's going to be a surprise, but think of HyperIntelligence as the ultimate way to deliver insights to people when they need it without having to do anything. It's like magic and makes everyone smarter. The insights can also be consumed from mobile devices, not just mobile dashboard, but you can expand that to mobile application with workflows and so on. We do enterprise reporting like we've done for the last 30 years. We are very well recognized for that. And last but not least, the dossier technology, which is our self-service dashboards and data visualization capabilities, are designed to help anyone in the company build their insights and deliver beautiful dashboards to everyone in the audience. That stack of consumption sits on another stack at which the core and the heart of MicroStrategy platform is the Semantic Graph. The Semantic Graph ensures that all the data is modeled centrally, governed, that every KPI is defined once and only once so that people can trust the data, so that people don't waste time modeling it. Would it be people who use the MicroStrategy platform as a front end, Hyper, mobile, reporting, and dossier, but also people who use it through third-party applications like Excel. Stop exporting Excel, connect Excel to MicroStrategy. Stop trying to govern Power BI or ClickView or Tableau, connect them to MicroStrategy. Same for data scientists. Everything is embeddable with our REST APIs and portable through any cloud vendor that is relevant to you, mostly AWS, Azure. Hopefully, in the short term, we're going to be also supporting GCP. And all of that sits on top of the enterprise stack of features, which is all about data connectivity to hundreds of data sources, enforcing security once and for all centrally at platform level, not at application or at dashboard level. This is a huge difference in terms of trust and security. The platform can scale like no other platform to thousands of users with petabytes of data. And we give you the monitoring tools to ensure that everything goes smoothly, to measure the ROI of your investment, and also proactively reach out to the users who need help because of bad performance or improper manipulations. We get insights extremely fast to the users. We have in-memory capabilities, but sometimes we need help to make the insight faster for queries that people cannot predict. And I think this is where Indexima is helping us. So I'd like Nicolas to tell us a bit about what Indexima can do to make this platform faster.
For sure, François. I can introduce Indexima just after that. You're right, in a world in which MicroStrategy sits on a huge amount of data, MicroStrategy needs a tool like Indexima in order to simplify and accelerate the data access. And in fact, Indexima is this middleware that helps data analytics platform, intelligent platform like MicroStrategy to get access to any kind of huge amount of data, let's say big data. And what we do is to reduce what we name the time to data, the time needed in between the moment you have new data on your data lake or new data on your data warehouses and the moment when you are able to use it. And what we do, and the way we do that in a slide, is that we simply use and arrange the data in a new way. With this structure we named hyperindex, but whatever, it's a new way of indexing, a new way of arranging the data that get very low memory footprint and allow to get very fast access to the data. And one more thing about Indexima is the fact that those hyperindexes are managed not by human, but by machine learning algorithms. And those machine learning algorithms do what your 80s way of data engineering team was doing before. We speed up the way you will have to, we speed up the access to your data. And in fact, when you put some data inside Indexima, the engine predicts the way it will be used, then creates automatically some of those very small structures that sit up in memory in order to optimize them, accelerate the response time, and we go on. And at the very end, the more you use your data, the faster it gets. Before getting rid of the slides and going into live demo, Roxane, I will make a challenge. I want to show you why Indexima and MicroStrategy are the perfect match, the perfect combo in the cloud to solve the 5 levers you were talking about. First, in the cloud, then you will see how it is simple to use MicroStrategy and Indexima. Why do we centralize the governance and the monitoring? How many skills you need to be able to do that very fast access to data with MicroStrategy and Indexima, and at the very end, how automatically it is. So Roxane, let's have a look at the live demo, and you will tell us at the end if we managed to demonstrate everything. Challenge accepted. Let's go. So with Henri-François, we will make a real live demo on top of data coming from New York City taxi. It's an open source data made of CSV files, and we've taken those CSV files and put them in one very fast engine in the cloud named Snowflake. I'm sure you've heard of that. And we have 5 billion rows that sits up on Snowflake with no data prep and a very simple star schema. On the left, the trips table with information like vendors, payment type, many things, and GPS coordinates of each trips for departure and arrival. And on the right, a simple dimension table that helps us to transform those GPS coordinates into zip code. Because you know, when you make data viz on top of that kind of data, it's much more sexy to use zip code instead of GPS coordinates. Of course, we'll make everything inside MicroStrategy. And here, this is a moment I give the screen to Henri-François that will show us how to use this data coming from Snowflake and what is the pain he has right now.
Good, let's do this. So I want to start with something Roxane shared with me a few days ago. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So Roxane, you sent me an article the other day. You asked me to look into this, this iconic New York City cab company. And so something I expected you would be using HyperIntelligence already. So let me show you how, as I was mentioning before, Hyper can help you get more data. As I'm browsing through the internet, news article, information, blogs, social medias, I can get my experience enriched with data that comes from MicroStrategy. As you can see here, there is a keyword that is highlighted. And when I mouse over that keyword, I get insights about the taxi company. I know how many passengers they had. I know how many rides they did. I know that they've been doing 51,000 kilometers, right? And I get these insights without having to do one click. It's zero-click insights that come literally knocking at my door to help me first access insights about something I'm interested about, but also it tells me that there is data for the use case and the information I'm browsing. It educates people about the fact that there is data at their disposal, they can use it, right? So the goal here is to focus on increasing adoption across the corporations, not only within the BI tool, but in every other place. Will it be, as I said, external websites, blogs, and so on, but it also works seamlessly on internal websites, CRM, ERP, so you take Salesforce, Oracle, SAP, but also custom developments that you might have. So Roxane, I really encourage you to start.
Yeah, so actually, are you telling me this is how we are bridging the data literacy gap and how we are actually removing the skills barrier?
Exactly. No skills needed here. You just need to warn people that something is going to change so they don't feel they were hacked, you know. But no skills needed, and the data really comes to the user as they need it. Users do not need to proactively go to the data. It's just the other way around, right?
But you know, I use email every day. Would that work in my email and my Outlook? Would I get the same information?
Absolutely. If you're using Outlook, then you can enable the Hyper extension for Outlook, and it's going to browse through your emails and provide these cards within Outlook. If you're using Gmail, it's all in web already, so it's just seamless. There is a cherry on the pie, which is mobile. And the mobile app for HyperIntelligence can scan your calendar and give you insights about the meeting you're going to have after the webinar and tomorrow and next few days.
So that's really cool. So I don't have to even worry about having the information handy. I just find it along the way wherever I work. That's really nice.
Yep, exactly. And in the end, hyper intelligence, it removes all the friction between the user and the data, including seamless login and bringing the user to the dashboard directly. Say you want to know more about this company, or where the trip coming from and so on, you can open the CAPS dossier here, and then you get redirected to the Microstrategy platform onto that dossier that we've built on top of Snowflake, as you can see, with 5 billion rows within Snowflake. And then you hook the user into the platform to start using analytics more and look for their own insights. We have a lot of data here, obviously. I think for 5 billion rows that we took like 10 seconds to do this initial load, which is quite acceptable. But as I've been building this dossier myself, straight to Snowflake, I did the SQL myself, like quick and dirty self-service. I noticed that whenever I click on a zip code, it takes a while to load the data for one zip code. So Nicolas, I think we measure something like 30 seconds per click, which is totally unacceptable to me when I want to build a dossier for my users. So my understanding is that Indexima can make this dramatically faster, right?
Yeah, we will make it faster together, but you have to know that 30 seconds in order to get access to 5 billion rows, this is very cool. I mean, it's already huge. And together, we will make it much more faster. So I suggest we learn together to put Indexima in between your MicroStrategy and your Snowflake. And first, we will make something. I mean, we will declare your Snowflake table inside Indexima. So can you go back to your HyperCard and click on this magic link Indexima? Yeah, perfect. It's going to the demo Indexima, demo.indexima.io cluster we set up together. And if you can go inside SQL part of the demo project, yeah. Here you can see on the right some schema. And we will fill the last schema, the partner's taxi schema. Thanks to the table you will declare with me. So for declaring table, it's very simple. Click on the plus. And then you select your Snowflake data source and you fill just like the same information you filled inside your MicroStrategy live connection a few minutes ago. You click on connect. And here Indexima has interacted with Snowflake in order to guess what are the tables you have access to. So please select the two tables you want to use. I mean, DIM origin and in yellow 5B, and you're done. No more data engineering till now. Your tables are right now declared on your Indexima cluster.
So I can go back to MicroStrategy and rewire my dashboard from Snowflake to Indexima, right? I don't have to.
Please.
So I don't have to rebuild it. I think for the purpose of the demo today, you built a semantic graph on top of Indexima, right? So I can use it directly.
You can use it directly.
Okay, so instead of using this big SQL query here that queries much more information than I need, I can go to the MicroStrategy semantic graph. So this goes to Snowflake Live Connect, right? Every query goes down to Snowflake. I can seamlessly replace this data set, this current ad hoc, and it's like business user created data set with more IT-driven objects that do more or less the same, but I mean in a trusted way, so that the zip code is defined once and I use it not directly on the table, I use it as an object. I can pick up the year as well. And you see, Roxane, you were concerned a bit about governance and empowering people to get their own insights without much help, but facilitate access to data while preserving trust. That's exactly how we do it, right? So in here, I've got all my metrics that have been defined before. I can create more, right? But I don't need to recreate metrics or dimensions that have been created by other people before. And that's extremely valuable.
So Henri-François, what you're showing to me here is that you initially started just doing some self-service for yourself. And then now what you'd like to do is to remap this on a trusted schema that everybody can use. Is that
Exactly.
kind of what is happening here?
That's exactly what's happening. And the story here is that you can build your own insights rather quickly as a business user, but then you can trust that whenever you need to industrialize, make insights faster and deploy it to thousands of users, you can already move the existing dossiers to industrial mode and just have to remap everything. I can see I benefit from the naming convention that is in the system rather than just a year and I don't know which year it means, right? You just have to remap to these metric names that make also more sense because this is how we've been defining them centrally, and it's just seamless, right? As soon as you're mapped, hit OK, and we're just replacing Snowflake by Indexima. So instead of MicroStrategy querying to Snowflake in the present view, when we're downloading here, you will be in an architecture where MicroStrategy queries Indexima that queries Snowflake. What I want to ask maybe Nicolas, so we are loading data from Snowflake through Indexima. So I expect it's going to get faster than it is currently, right?
Yeah, but you need to wait a few minutes before it gets faster, because you know what? Right now, you made no data engineering, so you made no optimization. So if you have a look inside your project tab, you know, the Indexima web view, yeah, and you click on this button just on the right of demo, yeah, that one, going to monitor. You will see all the queries live sent from MicroStrategy, your MicroStrategy, on top of your demo cluster in Indexima. Here, this is the kind of queries that are sent by your database. If you, yeah, can you click once again inside your dashboard, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Select any other zip code. Perfect. And here you can see all your queries running, all those needed to design your dashboard. Here, if you look, it's very slow, but this is the speed of Snowflake at the very end. If you click on one of the queries, yeah, that one, for example, it took 23 seconds from Indexima, and in fact, it was delegated to Snowflake for 23 seconds. So till now, Indexima is just a kind of proxy, but it's a bit more. And since you've made a few clicks, in fact, Indexima has learned the pattern of your usage of the data. So right now, Indexima is able to optimize your table. Can you go back in the project tab of your, yeah, perfect. And inside the schema, partners, taxi, or you have to refresh, exactly. Please select your table. And here you have this magic button named Optimize. You will click on the last day tuning optimization. That's it.
Isn't that supposed to be automated at some point?
It's supposed to be automatic, but we are in a demo, so we do not have the hour needed to the engine to set up it automatically. So we wanted to make it, we want it to be optimized in less than 5 minutes. So let's speed it up. And when you clicked, in fact, you said to the engine, it's time to optimize this table. So with those 17 seconds, you've made what your best DBA database admin would have done in a few days, building the best data set to answer to your dashboard. You know, it would be a cube or maybe a data mart or maybe an extract, whatever. Here, you just had to click on one button without any more definition.
So actually what you're saying here, Nicolas, is that by doing so, not only we had the simplified access, which we saw in the beginning when accessing the data, but now we have that automated, optimized platform that actually does the calculation for us.
You got it, Roxane. Robots and machine learning algorithm made what the best data engineering team would have done. And if you go back inside the dossier and select any other zip code, please enjoy the speed.
Oh, wow. Now it's almost immediate.
In fact, this is very, very fast. Remember, a few minutes ago, we had to wait 30 seconds for any combination of selection. And right now, Henri-François can select whatever. It will be always fast in milliseconds instead of half of minutes. If you go back, Henri-François, to the monitor, and after that, we will need to go to the slide. Yeah, you can see 5 milliseconds, 2 milliseconds, 4 milliseconds instead of those 17 seconds we had to wait with the same database, with the same dashboard, on the same data, 5 billion rows. I see that time is flying, so maybe we should go back to the slide. Thank you. Here we go. So Roxane, in this demo with Henri-François, we build up an app and an usage on 5 billion rows with Microstrategy plus Indexima on top of Snowflake. But you know what? We could do the same magic with any other data source in the cloud or on-prem, kind of SQL warehouse or any kind of files. I mean, it could be BigQuery, it could be Azure Synapse, Teradata, Oracle, Amazon Redshift, or even files on local storage or on Hadoop or on your Azure Data Lake. Whatever the data, we are able, MicroStrategy plus Indexima, to simplify, federate, accelerate the access. And at the very end, one more thing is the fact that we reduce cost. Because remember the 30 seconds you had to wait inside your Snowflake? I should let you know that it was a double extra large Snowflake cluster. It means a $64 an hour cluster. Since we've optimized it with my very small demo cluster of Indexima made of 2 nodes, the Snowflake cluster will auto-suspend in a few minutes. And in fact, since we do not need any more Snowflake, you just do not need any more to pay this $64 an hour. And this is huge reducing of cost. What do you think of that, Roxane?
Well, you know, you got me convinced. MicroStrategy and Indexima are indeed the perfect combo, and you've actually delivered on all of the points. So we just saw cloud flexibility with the pricing and the deployment in the cloud. The extent to which the data access was simple to actually build Indexima in between MicroStrategy and the data sources, the trust and the data governance that HF demoed with the Semantic Graph, the ease of use of hyperintelligence. Everyone can use it. It's right there at the tip of your finger at any point in time in your application of choice. No more barrier skills. And finally, the automated platform for optimization, a click of a button or just automated machine learning algorithms to automate the calculations and make sure that the indices are created to optimize all of the interactions for the users. That's just awesome. Thank you, guys. So, well, what does that mean to you all here in attending our session? Well, what we would love for you is to imagine your next new normal. What are all those things which you would have loved to do, but you couldn't do before because of the limitations of your BI and analytics platform, or because of the limitations of your data management stack? What would the new use cases be if you didn't have any of those constraints? So here we are, and we would love to help you with those challenges. Visit our website, test our trial versions, and invite us to actually help you find the right use cases, plan for design thinking workshops to reimagine your use cases with us, and we'd be delighted to help you in all of those activities. So with no further ado, we'd love to open it up for question and answers. So feel free to add any questions you have in the chat window at this time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Roxane. So we are waiting for your questions, and please do use the Q&A box. And we are receiving the first one. The first one is a kind of a picky one. Maybe HF, you would like to respond to this one. Question is the following. Is Microstrategy 2020 finally closing the gap in data visualization compared to other tools like Power BI or Click?
Yeah, it's quite picky and precise. So customers usually have the perception that there are two worlds. There is the world of data visualization when it comes to analytics, and there is the world of all the rest, enterprise reporting and so on. And people usually think that you need two platforms to do that, but actually Microstrategy is extremely well positioned to do both. And we were probably a bit known before in the past as being a bit behind in data visualization, but honestly, we closed the gap not only this year, but 2 years ago. And now we are on a track to improve and to make our own gap, a positive gap of lots of features and capabilities that are only available in MicroStrategy as self-service and data visualization. So yeah, definitely close the gap, but also we are expanding and creating a new gap for our competition.
Thank you very much, HF. The second one maybe for Nicolas before we close the session, and of course we will send you the recording after all and answers the other questions after the webinar. The second one is for you, Nicolas. It said, can Indexima federate various sources in one place?
Yeah, this is a point which I've shown you inside one of the slides. Indexima can sit up any kind of data coming from files in the cloud or on-prem, and coming from SQL data source in the cloud or on-prem. Indexima can federate those data. I mean, when a table has been declared inside Indexima, even if wherever it is coming from, this is an Indexima table. And you can mix data coming from Oracle with data coming from Snowflake or with data coming from Hadoop. At the very end, for your database, for MicroStrategy, it will just be two tables coming from Indexima. So Indexima sits up just like a data hub in order to centralize your access to your huge amount of data.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Roxane, Nicolas, and HF. It has been a pleasure to get you for this webinar today. For sure, we will share with you the recording of the webinar within the coming 48 hours, and we will come back to you if you get any questions. Have a very good day, everyone, and see you soon.
Have a good day. Thanks a lot.